So Trump former Secretary of Defense Mark Esper writes in his book and goes on 60 Minutes and says Trump wanted to bomb Mexico, and here's how I talked him out of it. And there's other witnesses that heard that as well. Well, certainly Trump is going to deny it, right? Trump does not deny it, which means he did it. Donald Trump, in response to Mark Esper's book and the 60 Minutes interview, put out a sort of Q&A. And we're going to look at it right now. And it is one of the most deranged documents I've maybe ever seen from a president. It's a Q&A. First question. During a June 1, 2020 meeting at the White House, the cabinet was debating what to do about protests and civil unrest. Mark Esper says President Trump wanted to shoot some of the protesters in the legs. A lot of foul language was used and accused President Trump of calling members of the cabinet effing losers. Trump's response. This is a complete lie, and 10 witnesses can back it up. Well, who are they, and can we talk to them? Mark Esper was weak and totally ineffective, and because of it, I had to run the military. I took out ISIS, Qasem Soleimani, al-Baghdadi, rebuilt the military with $2.5 trillion, created space farce, and so much more. Mark Esper was a stiff who was so desperate not to lose his job. He would do anything I wanted. That's why I called him Esper. He was a lightweight and figurehead, and I realized that early on. He was recommended to me by some very weak rhinos, and that is what he turned out to be. Now, this is a typical Trump lie. Like, I don't believe him as far as I can throw him. But more importantly, Trump keeps having to go out and say, well, Bolton was a lightweight. Esper was a lightweight. Tillerson was, all these people. Trump ran on, I'm going to hire the best people and I'm the best at picking folks. And yet he was snowed by rhinos and hired all the wrong people. That's weird. Next question to Trump. President Trump wanted to send 10,000 active duty troops into D.C. after St. John's Church was set on fire. Trump's response, wrong. I wanted to send at least 10,000 troops for January 6th because I knew people were coming to protest the corrupt presidential election. Pelosi and the D.C. mayor turned me down. 60 Minutes should ask them why they chose not to have proper security. And remember, as we know, on that day, all sorts of people, including Ivanka, were saying he's got to bring in the National Guard. And he didn't do that for hours. Second, a couple last questions here. Later in a meeting at the White House, President Trump contended that his Secretary of Defense had taken away his authority on the Insurrection Act and didn't believe he could invoke it anymore. This is fake news. The fact is, I didn't need to invoke the act and never did. And lastly, we can skip to the last question. On a couple of occasions, President Trump suggested to Esper they, quote, attack the drug cartels with missiles, meaning bomb Mexico. Trump's response is no comment. No comment. That means he did it. That means he did it. And, we're it's almost beyond words. We're dealing with a complete and total lunatic. This guy would be in a business where national security isn't at stake, running a construction company, running a restaurant, running an accounting firm, anywhere. People would say this person is impossible to deal with. He's completely disconnected from reality. He is making it impossible for anybody to do their jobs, and it's bad. And that person has been put in charge or was put in charge of running the entire country, a complete and total dangerous, narcissistic lunatic. And we continue to learn more every single week. One other thing that I want to go back to here. If everybody that he hired ended up being, they were losers, they were idiots, they're lying, they're rhino traitors, Pence did the wrong stuff. He didn't overturn the election. And William Barr wasn't willing to take legal action Trump wanted him to take on the election. And Esper was just a yes man. And then, Mark Milley was a woke general and Bolton is a loser. On and on and on. What does it say about Trump's judgment that he continually appointed these so-called losers to the highest offices in the land to do some of the most important functions that a president needs to appoint people to do? It doesn't speak particularly well to I will work with only the best people. It is bonkers. It is absolutely bonkers. We're going to take a quick break and be back right after this. Stay with us. One of our longtime sponsors is Vincero Collective. If you don't know Vincero yet, it's the place to go for quality watches, sunglasses, and more. Serious style, undeniable quality, and total versatility put Vincero really at the top of the game, and their newest watch release is no exception. It's the Argo Automatic. It spotlights everything I love about Vincero. I got the Argo Automatic in frost white. This is a dive watch, which is, of course, a staple in the watch world, but I really think Vincero found a way to make this one stand out. I love the gradient blue accent of the hour markers against the solid white face. I really love all of their watches, and I own a bunch, but the Argo is probably my favorite so far. Vincero sunglasses and jewelry and other accessories are awesome too. An excellent way to elevate any outfit. Vincero Collective is giving my audience 15% off all products and free shipping. Go to vincerocollective.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman. The link is down below.